Welcome to another Monday Morning Pastor, where we look at a point or two from yesterday's sermon to share with you to help us get through the week. And today we're going to focus on an important theological point that was made yesterday in church, which is this. Theological means how we think about God. God does not need us. Plain and simple, God does not need us, but He longingly desires and wants us. That's important, that's profound. I want us to think about that for a moment this morning. We have been studying the book of Acts, and we find ourselves in chapter 17, where the Apostle Paul, that great missionary, pastor, and theologian, is in Athens, the current capital of Greece, and he finds himself on Mars Hill, where the philosophers of the day used to hang out. And that's a city with a great history of really smart people like Aristotle and Plato and Socrates. And he finds himself debating the leaders there, the philosophers there. And he says to them, I notice as I'm going through your city that you have a lot of idols and you have a lot of temples because you worship lots of different gods. But I found this one. I found a temple that says, to the unknown God. Apparently, in case you missed one of those gods. After getting their attention, Paul says this to these philosophers. The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth, which means He's the Lord of the universe, and does not live in temples built by human hands. It's impossible to contain God. It's impossible to put Him in a box. Think about it. Just be logical. If there's a God that created everything, how could you possibly contain Him? And then it says in verse 25 that He is not served by human hands as if He needed anything. There's nothing that we can provide that God needs. This is not a pantheistic view of God where God is part and parcel of everything and dependent upon everything. He's dependent upon nothing. In fact, it says, rather He Himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. Just take a moment to ponder just breath, just air, oxygen and nitrogen that we have to survive and live on. Or think about life. Just ponder how life could possibly have begun. Natural life, we believe, had to have been sparked by something supernatural. We call that supernatural God. But more than that, that God is not just an impersonal, indifferent being out there. He cares for us. He wants us. It goes on and he says, God did this. He created the world. He created people so that they would seek Him, or that we would seek Him and reach out for Him and find Him. Not just the seeking, but the finding of Him, though He's not far from any of us. God is near and close to us. So the point is, He doesn't need us, but He wants us. And the only way we can show our gratitude is our loyalty, our trust, our faith, and our love. And I thought of an illustration that I think might help us in understanding how we are to relate to God. Simply that we can't earn it. We can't do anything to earn His favor. We simply receive it and trust Him. Imagine for a moment that you have been invited to dinner at Elon Musk's home. Very, very wealthy person. Let's say maybe you're a craftsman and you did some work for him in a home or something like that. He noticed your work. He noticed you. He started talking to you. Found you interesting for some reason. And says, I'd like to get to know you better. How about coming to my home for dinner tonight? And I'd like to chat with you and just enjoy the evening with you. And you say, sure, and you show up. And as expected, you have a wonderful dinner with Elon Musk. And it finally reaches an end at about 10 o'clock. So you begin to leave the house. And as you leave the front door, you turn around and you say to Elon, this has been a great evening. I would like to pay for my meal. You pull out your checkbook and you say, what, would $100 be enough? Cringe, shocking. You would never do that. You would never be so inappropriate and so disrespectful. Sometimes we're that way with God. we think that God needs something from us, and that if we provide it, He's somehow obligated to us in some way. He's not. All He wants is our trust, our faith, our loyalty, our love, our obedience, and that's all we can do for Him. Again, God does not need us, but He wants us. Have a great week.